Hello and welcome to my channel once again. Today I'm here with a very good video about nice fairy. I don't know what to put it, but it's one of the best bedtime stories I've ever read, and I would like to share it with you. It's entitled Tom Thumb. So without wasting my time, let's dive straight into it. There was once a poor peasant who sat in the evening by the hearth and poked the fire, and his wife sat and span. Then said he, "How sad it is that we have no children. With us all is so quiet, and in other houses it is noisy and lively." "Yes," replied the wife, and sighed. "Even if we had only one, and it were quite small and only as big as a thumb, I should be quite satisfied, and we would still love it with all our hearts." Now it so happened that the woman fell ill, and after 7 months gave birth to a child that was perfect in all its limbs, but no longer than a thumb. Then said they, "It were as we wished it to be, and it shall be our dear child." And because of its size, they call it Tom Thumb, though they did not let it want her food. The child did not grow taller, but remained as it had been at the first. Nevertheless, it looked sensibly out of its eyes, and soon showed itself to be a wise and noble creature, for everything it did turn out well. One day, the peasant was getting ready to go into the forest to cut wood, when he said as if to himself, "How I wish that there was someone who would bring me the cat." "Oh, father," cried Tom Thumb, "I will soon bring the cat. Rely on that. It shall be in the forest at the appointed time." The man smiled and said, "How can that be done? You are far too small to lead the horse by the reins." "That's of no consequence, father. If my mother will only harness it, I shall sit in the horse's ear and call out to him how he is to go." "Well," answered the man, "for once he would try it." When the time came, the mother harnessed the horse and placed Tom Thumb in its ear, and then the little creature cried, "Gee up, gee up." Then it went quietly, probably as if with its master, and the cat went the right way into the forest. It so happened that just as he was turning a corner, and the little one was crying, "Gee up," two strange men came towards him. "My word," said one of them, "what is this? There is a cat coming, and the driver is calling to the house, and so he is not to be seen." "That can't be right," said the other. "We will follow the cat and see where it stops." The cat, however, drove right into the forest and exactly to the place where the wood had been cut. When Tom Thumb saw his father, he cried to him, "Do you see, father? Here I am with the cat. Now take me up." The father got hold of the horse with his left hand, and with his right took his little son out of the ear. Tom Thumb sat down quite merely on a straw, but when the two strange men saw him, they did not know what to say for astonishment. Then one of them took the other aside and said, "Listen, the little fellow would make our fortune if we exhibited him in a large town. For money, we will buy him." They went to the peasant and said, "Sell us the little man. He shall be well treated with us." "No," replied the father, "he is the apple of my eye, and all the money in the world cannot buy him from me." Tom Thumb, however, when he heard of the bargain, had crept out to the fold of his father's coat, placed himself on his shoulder, and whispered in his ear, "Father, don't give me away. I will soon come back again." Then the father parted with him to the two men for a handsome sum of money. "Where will you sit?" he said to him. "Oh, just set me on the rim of your hat, and then I can walk backward and forward and look at the country, and still not fall down." They did as he wished, and when Tom Thumb had taken leave of his father, they went away with him. They walked until it was dark, and when the little fellow said, "Do take me down, it is necessary." "Just stay up there," said the man on whose hat he sat. "It makes no difference to me. The bird sometimes lets things fall on me." "No," said Tom Thumb. "I know that's manners. Take me quickly up." The man took his hat off and put the little fellow on the ground, and he leaped and crept about a little between the soles. And then he suddenly slipped into a mouse hole which he had sought out. "Good evening, gentlemen. Just go home without me," he cried to them, and mocked them. They ran thither and stuck their sticks into the mouse hole, but it was all in vain. Tom Thumb crept still further in. As it soon became quite dark, they were forced to go home with their recitation and their empty purses. When Tom Thumb saw that they had gone, he crept back out of the subterranean passage. "It is so dangerous to walk on the ground in the dark," said he. "How easily a neck or a leg is broken. Fortunately, he stumped against an empty snail shell. Thank God," said he, "in that I can pass the night in safety," and got into it. Not long afterwards, when he was just going to sleep, he heard two men go by, and one of them was saying, "How shall we set about getting hold of the rich pastor's silver and gold?" "I could tell you that," cried Tom Thumb, interrupting them. "What was that?" said one of the thieves in fright. "I heard someone speaking." They stood still listening, and Tom Thumb spoke again and said, "Take me with you, and I will help you." "But where are you? Who are you?" "Just look on the ground and observe from whence your voice comes," he replied. And then the thieves at length found him and lifted him up. "You little imp, how will you help us?" they said. "Listen," said he. "I'll creep into the pastor's room through the iron bars and will reach out to you whatever you want to have." "Come then," they said, "and we'll see what you can do." When they got to the pastor's house, Tom Thumb crept into the room, but instantly cried out with all his might, "Do you want to have everything that is here?" The thieves were alarmed and said, "But do speak softly, so as not to awaken anyone." Tom Thumb, however, behaved as if he had not understood this, and cried again, "What do you want? Do you want to have everything that is in here?" The cock, who slept in the next room, heard this and sat up in bed. Listen, the thieves, however, had in their fright run some distance away, but at last they took courage and thought, "The little rascal wants to mock us." They came back and whispered to him, "Come, be serious and reach something out to us." Then Tom Thumb again cried out loudly as he could, "I really will give you everything, just put your hands in." This is where I'm gonna leave you guys. This is part 1 of the Tom Thumb story. If you would like to hear what happens next, please subscribe to my channel and press on the notification bell icon. I'll release a video hopefully tomorrow or the day after, so that you know what will happen. I don't intend to make this video long. Thank you, and see you next day. Hello and welcome to